And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Also, want to welcome those who are tuning in now. We have connected with us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. Glad you all could join us as we're kind of doing a 2-for-1 today. This is National Book Month, as you guys know. So, this hour, we're going to be featuring two great authors, but it also is Prime Day 2. So, of course, we have some great deals for you guys coming up as well. I'm working with some great brands to be able to bring you guys some great bargains. So you definitely don't want to miss out on that. Dr. Velma is joining us over on the Amazon Live side. I appreciate that. Also, of course, we have Katina Turner that also is following us over there. Thank you so much. If you guys are new to us on the Amazon Live side, make sure you guys hit that follow button. You see it either here in this corner or down below. You will also see the books and products we're talking about in the next 60 minutes, including two of the books by my next guest. We're excited to welcome Jacquiline Cox to our program today. Jacquiline is someone who's not only a best-selling author, she's also a media personality herself. This book is already out here, as you guys can see. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it for you guys on the Amazon Live side. It Can't Always Be Night. But she's also gearing up for the release of her brand new book. We've been talking to her about that as well. Jacquiline, thank you again for the time. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I'm a little nervous, and I'm never nervous, but I'm nervous today. I don't know why. Maybe because I got bestsellers on my hands. I don't know. I'm just nervous.
There you go. Well, let's talk about that, Jacqueline. It's been quite the year for you already. You and I met, of course, because of some other projects you've been a part of. As you mentioned, of course, your newest book, we're going to go ahead and share it with our audience here for those who have not gotten it already. And then, of course, we'll be able to share it on the Amazon Live side. Mountains Can't Rise Without Earthquakes. Of course, this is already a bestseller for you. Jacqueline is coming out in November. I've already pre-ordered mine. People can see it up there, and we have it highlighted in the carousel for those joining us on the Amazon Live side. So, Jacqueline, what has it been like for you to see what this year has done for you and already unfolded for you?
Oh man, it has been a whirlwind of just emotion and um blessings. To be able to know that it's people out here who resonate with my story. And not necessarily in a traumatic way, but just knowing that, even though we all go through difficult times, if God could bring me through it, He can bring them through it as well. So
Yeah.
it's just been um, uplifting, empowering, and I just give God all the glory to everything that I have accomplished because I would not do it without Him and without His grace and without His blessings. So I just try to remain positive as best as I can now.
Mhm.
And because He ain't done with me, but I try my best to be the best person and the best version of me that I can, and while doing that and while God is shining through me, just to be able to, weave my way through the darkness. So,
Yeah.
and I have my family, of course, my husband, my kids, my in-laws, my family, as well as my virtual family, to thank for that. So thank everybody. And Tina, that's my friend over 20 years, Katina Turner, thank you, girl, for coming to me.
Well, Carolyn is also joining us on the Amazon Live side here.
Yeah,
Jacqueline, she says hello to you.
hey,
And Dr. Audrey Ann says hello to you. I'm excited about mountains. I'm watching my mailbox, waiting for it to arrive. So
hey,
she's excited
Moses, girl.
about the
I
new
see
book.
you, girl.
So you mentioned, of course, your family. And I want to, because we have some extended time with you here, Jacqueline, I want to talk a little bit about how people have gotten to know you. So, of course, they know you, of course, as a best-selling author. You have the books that you've already released, and of course, what's coming up for you. But also, you've been able to build on your platform as a media personality, as I mentioned in my introduction as well. What has it been like for you to not only find your voice, Jacqueline, but to share your voice?
Oh, growing up, I was very shy, believe it or not. Because my siblings, if you think my personality is big, Cyrus, baby, m- I'm nothing compared to my siblings, okay? They have huge personalities, and each one of them are highlighted in mountains. But I've always been the shy one. And I didn't get to coming out of my shell until almost graduating high school. And so after that, I've just been like a social butterfly. But
Right.
to be able to join a platform like the Black Women Authors on Facebook, and just to meet, powerhouses like Laquita Parks and Dr. Velma and Chanel Coleman Wesley and Carolyn Coleman and Audrey Ann and Trivia Payne. These women are such staples, and they are all around the world, right? And they are such monumental staples in their own right. And for them to just say, you know what, come on girl, we just gonna give you some love and just push you where God wants you to go. And for me to say, you know what, I'm finally gonna say yes to me. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. Because just sitting around, I have lupus, I have thyroid cancer, I have renal insufficiency, I have fibromyalgia. And it brought me to a point. I was in corporate America. I was working for DCFS for a while, for almost 10 years. And when I got down sick, I started to feel like I haven't really accomplished anything. And I have kids of my own. I have a 12-year-old and a 7-year-old, but I also have 3 bonus kids, 2 daughters, and a son that's 23. He'll be 24. And to be like, I haven't really, what am I doing? I'm 34 years old and I'm just laying in the bed. And, of course, I got my husband to try to uplift and encourage me all the time. But I
Right.
felt like I hadn't really accomplished anything. So I decided one day, I was scrolling through Facebook because I'm a social junkie. And my husband was there with me. And I said, I always wanted to write. I've always been a good writer. And he was like, well, I told him, I said, I see this contest, this 21-day challenge, and I want to do it. And I was like, but I'm scared. He's like, well, if you do it, I'll do it. Right. And so we did the 21-day challenge, and the 21-day challenge birthed this for me.
Mm.
I took poetry that I've written throughout the journey of my childhood and my early adult years, and I put it all into this book.
Yeah.
It Can't Always Be Night.
Yeah.
And I got that title. I got that title from Kanye West, actually.
Hmm.
He got a song that comes up and say, "It can't always be night," and that
Right.
resonated with me because we go through darkness, right? But eventually that darkness turns to light. So eventually, it's a light at the end of the tunnel. And I got the title also. It stuck with me because I was watching the episode of Stranger Things. And I don't know if you ever watched that, but
No.
with Stranger Things, the girl, she was locked in. The devil had her, right? So he had her mind. And he was feeding her all this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear that she was going through, and giving her all these bad memories. But her friends were at the top of the tunnel, and they were saying, "Hey, we see you, we love you, we love you." And she started having all these good memories and these good thoughts, and it brought her out of that dark space into the light. And they pulled her out because she was almost dead, Cyrus. He almost had her, but he
Hmm.
couldn't have her because she started thinking those positive things. So it's like we not always in darkness. It's a light at the end of the tunnel, girl. Just keep going. It can't always be night.
Gotcha. Gotcha. FB on Amazon Live said, love the title. My son loves that show. Also says, loving this author combo. I want to read something from It Can't Always Be Night, Jacqueline. And I will let people know I didn't know what to expect when I started reading this book. So let me just tell you all that from the beginning. Jacqueline talks about a little bit of everything
Yes,
in
I
this
do.
in this book.
Because
But I
it's
want to
going
read
through a
something.
journey, Cyrus. It's
Yeah,
going
I
through
want to
a
read
journey.
something from the poem Exit Young. And this is what you wrote under E. And I want to talk to you about it. And it's interesting that you brought that up about Stranger Things, but this is what you wrote in the book. If I die young, bury me in satin, lay me down on the bed of roses, sink me in the river at dawn, send me away with the words of a love song. The sharp knife of a short life, well, I've had just enough time, and I'll be wearing white when I enter into your kingdom. I'm as green as a ring on my little cold finger. I'm known to loving of a man, but it sure felt nice when he was holding my hand. There's my husband who says he'll love me forever. Who would have thought forever would be severed? By the short life of a cute little wife, blinded by love, but regained my light. With my wonderful children and a love that's all mine, well, I've had just enough time. I want to talk about mortality for a second because I think we all live in a world where we only think about we can do everything, we have all the time in the world. But what was it like for you to think about your own mortality, Jacqueline, and what the end would be like for you?
You know what? I was inspired by a song. I don't know if you ever watched Glee, right?
No.
Glee, the girl on there who's passed away now, she sung a song, and it was very similar to that one. And she said, "Lay me down in a bed of roses, if I die young." And I was going through a lot at the time that I wrote that, and I
Mhm.
I kind of put my own spin to it. But it's more so about right now. I'm here, right? But God does not promise us time on earth. He promised us eternal life in heaven on the side of him and his son, right? So people are so caught up with now and making plans for the future. But Jeremiah 29:11 says, I have plans for your future. I'm planning your future. I'm paraphrasing because that's not what it
Mhm.
says,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying.
Mhm.
And people who are of the word, they know God has a plan for your future. He does not promise us time here on earth. So the time that I have here, I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to love those who love me, pray for those who don't, because who wouldn't love me? But even with that being said, if I die young, I'm telling my husband, hey, put some glitter in my ashes. You know, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to
Mhm.
leave fabulously the way that I came. And I want people to know that royalty is within my blood. God gave me this. He gave me the inheritance. I am his child. So
Mhm.
that is what that is basically saying. When I think of my own mortality, I know that I have immortality in heaven, and it's not promised here on earth.
Yeah. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, you all are watching Cyrus Represent on Amazon Live. We appreciate all of you guys being there. Dr. Velma says Jacqueline is real and raw, but the depth of her poetry reminds me of Maya Angelou. Jenny A, hello to you, Jenny. Jenny says Jacqueline's amazing. And FB says yes. Want glitter in my ashes, gold. And I love the fact that you're able to make those connections with people. And I want to again, don't want to forget you guys joining us on Facebook. I see you guys over there on YouTube as well, LinkedIn and Twitter. If you guys have any questions or comments for Jacqueline, we do have the chat open for you guys, so feel free to be able to put those in there as well. But Jacqueline, you also are gearing up, as I mentioned. Of course, the book that we've been talking about is "It Can't Always Be Night." But you're preparing for the release of your book, "Mountains Can't Rise Without Earthquakes." So again, I want to show that for our audience here because they can go ahead and pre-order it for our audience that's joining us on Amazon Live. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it for you guys over there. For those of you who are joining us on the other platforms, make sure you guys head over to Amazon and pre-order for yourself. So mountains can't rise without earthquakes. Jacqueline, you said you wanted to read something from the book. What would you like to share for us?
I'm going to read the a passage from the book. And I wanted people to kind of get a glimpse of the book and kind of like what's in it.
Okay.
Eventually, I found myself parked at the edge of a serene lake, its glassy surface reflecting the moonlight. I stepped out of the car and took a deep breath. The crisp evening filled my lungs. As I gazed at the shimmering stars above, a newfound determination washed over me. I won't let fear dictate my choices, I whispered to the night sky. I may not have it all figured out, but I'll find a way to provide for this child. I'll fight tooth and nail to give him a life filled with love and opportunities. With newfound resolve, I returned to the hospital the following day, ready to face the reality of my situation head on. I sought counseling, seeking guidance and support from professionals who could help me navigate the challenges that lay ahead. As the weeks turned into months, I immersed myself in research, preparing for responsibilities of motherhood. I attended parenting classes, read countless books, and sought advice from experienced parents. Slowly but surely, my fear transformed into determination, and I started to believe that maybe, just maybe, I was capable of being a good mother. Through the ups and downs that followed, I discovered an inner strength that I never knew I possessed. The journey was far from easy, filled with sleepless nights, endless diaper changes, and moments of self doubt. But with every smile, giggle, and every milestone reached, my heart swelled with love that was indescribable. And as I look back onto that fateful day in the hospital, I realized that it was the turning point in my life. It forced me to confront my fears, to rise above uncertainties, and to embrace the beautiful chaos of motherhood. And through the road ahead is still uncertain, I know that I'm ready to face it head on with my child by my side. So buckle up, world, because I'm just getting started. I may not have all the answers, but I have love, determination, and a fierce resilience that will carry me through whatever challenge that may come me and my child's way. Together, my child and I will forge our own path, creating a future filled with endless possibilities. Because what they all fail to realize is that this mountain will rise. So bring it on, earthquakes.
Wow. Wow, I love that. Again, the book is available for pre-order now. Mountains Can't Rise Without Earthquakes. Again, you can go ahead and get the Kindle edition, pre-order it now for only $2.99. We have it highlighted for you guys on the Amazon side. Again, already a bestseller. When you saw it was a bestseller, Jacqueline, what was that like for you?
Oh man, look, let me tell you what happened, Cyrus, real quick. So I'm laying down in the bed, and my girl, she was on her early. Ronnie Cyrus was on here earlier, and she made a comment on my Facebook post under the pre-order and said, "Come on, girl, come on up to the top. I'm rooting for you," or something of that sort. And I said, "Come to the top. I'm already there. You know me. I'm already at the top." I didn't know what she
Mhm.
meant. But
Right.
then I said, "Well, let me see what she's talking about." So I look under there, Cyrus, I'm number 2. I'm number 2 on new releases. I said, "What in the Jesus?" I said, "Oh, okay, it's game time." I went into full mode. And when just to see that, to say, wow, these people really, really resonate through with my story. People have really been waiting on this book. I've been writing this book for over a year and a half, and it has been a whirlwind of depression, emotion, because you have to relive these things. These are
Right.
things that I went through. This is my real life. Mountains is my real life. It can't always be night is my real life of domestic violence, of domestic abuse, of molestation, of incest, of ancestral rape, as I should say. So I went through all these things, and all these things are highlighted in my book. And so I had to go through that and relive those things again. And so I
Mhm.
put it away. I come back to it. I put it away. I come back to it because it would take me into a depression. By me having lupus, I would have flares. I had to
Right.
back away, come back. So this has been a hard road for me to really get this book out and to see that all my hard work and everything that I've went through and my struggles with my emotion and taking my family. Oh, my family been through it. And because I took them through it with me. And to be able to say, you know what, I did it. And people, even if it was just one person, to be honest with you, to buy this book and say, you know what, I resonate with you with that.
Yeah.
That it really touched me to see
Mhm.
that it reached that. I wasn't planning on that until after the book came out. To
Sure.
know that I could reach that with just pre-orders, that's nothing but God. That's just God.
Right. So now our audience can be a part of that as well. Again, the book is entitled Mountains Can't Rise Without Earthquakes, available now for pre-order. You guys can see it over there on the Amazon Live side. For those tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter, you'll see a link that'll bring you over to Amazon. That way you can be able to get it for yourself. And Carolyn says, no one can tell your story but you. That's such a good point. Jacqueline, so excited for you, excited about all the things that are yet to come for you. How can our audience stay connected with you?
You know what? You guys can reach me on Facebook under Jacqueline Cox, Instagram Spiritual Sunbeam 2020. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Threads. You can find me on my website, which is if you want to order a signed copy, and that's youngsaveleaders.myshopify.com. Or you can always tune in to Listen Linda, which is my podcast on streaming on all platforms worldwide. I'm in 10 different countries, and it's called Listen Linda, hosted by Jacqueline Cox.
All right, Jacqueline, congratulations to you again. Great to be able to spend some time with you and looking forward to our next chat together.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey, more than welcome. And we definitely thank you all for joining us for this segment of Cyrus Webb Presents here on Prime Day. Have much more to come. We have Dr. Teresa A. Smith coming up here in just a bit. Dr. Taz is what a lot of you guys know her for. She has some great books also here on Amazon, including a cookbook. And there are a lot of cooking celebrations going on during the month of October, especially, of course, going into November and December as well. Going to talk to her about her year and what's been going on. But let's also talk about some of the deals that are going on right now as well. Glad to be able to share them with us. For the guys here, as you guys know, I've been telling you guys about Carly Window, one of the brands I've been rocking with for a couple of years now. They have a great deal on their sweaters right now. Have another one of their sweaters on right now. You guys can get it right now for only $31.99. They have different colors. Of course, blue is my favorite color. So, of course, you're going to see me rocking a lot of blue. But they do have a lot of different colors there. On the Amazon side, we have it featured for you guys now. Again, $31.99. The regular price is $49.99. If you guys are looking for some affordable wireless earbuds, my brand Tozo has you guys covered. This is what they look like. This is your rechargeable case. You see here, Tozo is the brand. Again, I've been telling you guys about this here for Prime Day. Get this, $15.29. $15.29 for these wireless earbuds. You can pair them with your phone, with your tablet, fit really comfortably in the ear. Very nice design on these, fit really easy in. Of course, it lets you know left and right here, right on the actual packaging, and you're able to see them being charged right inside of the case. So again, that is the Tozo mini earbuds, again, on a great deal right now, $15.29. Now, you guys know I've been talking about my Homedic waterfall pretty much all of Prime Day for yesterday and today. I love this thing, and I think you'll love it too. And you definitely would love the price. It's on sale right now. Get this, for $15.19. $15.19. It has a 3 tiers here. It comes with your stones for the actual waterfall, which makes it really cool. You do have to assemble it, but the assembly is very easy. Then you have to plug it up, and you're all set to be able to go. Just add your water, and you're all set. But again, this is the Homedic waterfall for your office. Of course, I have it here in the studio. $15.19. Regular price is $34.99. So it really is a good deal for Prime. And if you guys are looking for a nice solar lantern to be able to hang outside of your home or to be able to put on your porch or patio, this is a great design here. Love this. Love the size of it. And you're going to love the price. It's $19.99. Regular price is $31.99. Now, the main thing for this is to put it where it can get very good sunlight because it is solar powered. But notice what happens once it gets dark. You can see it lights up there. Looks really cool. Again, you can be able to sit it on your porch or patio, or you can be able to hang it in your trees. It is waterproof, so you don't have to worry about the water damaging the unit, which is really nice. But again, you have this lantern here. For the regular price is $31.99. It's on sale right now for $19.99. So again, once it gets dark, it lights up for you. And then, of course, in the daytime, that's when it's charging itself. You don't have to do anything. Just turn it on, and it is all set to go. All right. Want to also let you guys know about another great deal that's going on. If you're looking for a way to be able to keep your phones charged up, have a great charger for you guys for that. This is the NU portable charger. It is $17.99. This is what it looks like here. As you can see, you can charge up 2 devices at one time, with this particular one. It actually comes with the charging cord for you. $17.99 is the price for this. $17.99. Really easy to be able to use. All you have to do is be able to power it on. You'll notice the paw print that is on here will actually turn on once it's actually being activated. And then you, of course, can be able to, as I mentioned, plug in two different devices there to be able to charge them up and to have them ready for when you need it. This is great, of course, for yourself if you're traveling with different devices, or for the family, something great to be able to have with you as well. And the last thing I want to talk to you guys about that's another great deal for those of you who may have medication around, you may have little things you want to keep out of the reach of children or pets. I have a great lockable box for you guys that's intended just for this. I'm going to show you guys this. I love the design of this too. And get this, it has a combination lock that is on it. So you're able to easily see what's in it, as you can see there. But it does have a combination lock on it, so you don't have to worry about the children or the pets getting in it. So you put in your medicine, things that you want to be able to keep out of the reach of children. Now keep in mind, this is not a safe because it's clear. So you don't think you're going to be hiding anything from anybody. All right. So this is really just me to keep it out of the reach of your pets and your children. This is $23.99. The instructions for the safe are right inside of the box there, as you see. But this is really great, again, for your medicine, things you want to keep out of the reach of children. Again, once you put the items inside, you can go ahead, of course, and activate the combination lock. And then it is locked until you do the combination. It automatically defaults to zeros, as you can see there. But you can be able to set it to whatever you'd like for the combination, and then you're able to safely be able to store your items there. So there are some great items that we have for you guys as we are wrapping up day 2 of Prime Day. And I want to thank you guys again for making us, for the second day in a row, haven't posted this yet, the #1 media show for Prime Day. This is our second time this year. And really, it's because of all of your support. Really do appreciate that. I want to thank the brands I've been able to work with for this year. It really is an honor to be able to share your products with our audience. And for the authors that have been joining us for our Prime Day conversations, we're glad you all could be with us as well. Which brings us to our very next guest. Dr. Teresa A. Smith is rejoining us here on Amazon Live. Dr. Taz is what we normally call her. She is an author that is real. She's relatable. And she gives us things that we can easily be able to use. I have a few of her books here for you guys to be able to take a look at. I first met Dr. Taz when it came to this book. You guys see Stronger. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it for you guys in the carousel for you. Then, of course, she has this book, Transformation, the Bounce Back. Very revealing book. And for those just for this time of year, I think you guys are going to really like this. This is her cookbook here, Transform with Taz. I'm going to go ahead and bring Taz in for what I know is going to be a great conversation. Dr. Taz, how are we doing?
I'm doing great, Cyrus. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for asking, Dr. Taz. It's been a great week here on Amazon Live, but we definitely want to welcome those tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. Dr. Taz, you know what? When I talk to you, I know one thing.
Okay.
You know what that one thing is?
What?
Expect the unexpected.
That's true.
But no, I'm always excited to talk to you. First of all, congratulations on another great year. Tracy is joining us over on Facebook. Hey, Tracy, good to be able to see you over there. You've had another great year, a lot of great things happening for you. So, we have to do our recap. What's the year 2023 been like for you, Dr. Taz?
It's like coming out of a cocoon. As you know, I wrote The Bounce Back, and I think I went in a cocoon for 4 months so that I could get some nutrients and come out of the cocoon in a better place so that I could really sort of manage all the things that are happening in 2023. It's so many things happening. It's like, whoosh, it's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. Dr. Taz, what I thought about when I was prepping for this segment with you today, because I'm always thinking about what can we discuss or how we can approach something in a different way, because you and I have had a lot of conversations. I want to talk about happiness, because I think this is something that people can relate to. And I think you are the perfect person to have this conversation with, because I've seen you reading parts of a transformation, the bounce back. I'm going to highlight it here for a second for our audience on the Amazon Live side. But I want to ask you, what does happiness look like for you now?
You know, as Sarah said, you know, every time I talk with him, I never know what to expect. This is never scripted. So he always gives me these questions that's like, oh my God. But you know, Sarah's happiness. You know that I always say that you never measure success by someone else's barometer. And I think happiness is the exact same thing. Right now, what happiness looks like for me is, and guys, I'm being very serious, getting 8 hours of sleep a night, eating healthy, exercising, and then learning to take life in stages, because there's so much work to be done. You can't really do it all at one time or get it all done in a day, but learning to do it in stages. And that really, believe it or not, helps your emotional wellness. And so that's what happiness is, because it's work. And even if it's the things that you like to do, you're going to pick it back up the next day. And I think being able to look at what I'm doing, what's happening around me through that lens actually helps facilitate happiness for me.
Gotcha. Love that. Love that. So does that surprise you that something that simple is what brings you happiness?
Yes, because, you know, the hamster, you know, I've been on a lot of hamster wheels, you know, hamster wheels as far as education, hamster wheels.
I think we all have, yeah.
Yeah, you know, jobs as far as civic work. I've been on a lot of hamster wheels all of my life. And to get to this point, to boil it down to just that, it's like, yes, because I've done a lot, but those are simple things and they're priceless things. And when you look at being able to continue on in whatever work you do, whether you're retired now or whatever, just living life to the fullest, you have to get sleep. You can't do it all at one time. Learning that it takes one bite to eat that elephant. And I think that it's a good framework for people to approach everything that we do in life.
Yeah. Dr. Audrey Ann is joining us on Amazon Live. Dr. Taj, she says hello to you. Great to see you. I want to also, to talk about this thing, and I'm getting to a point here, Taj. I have highlighted again for our audience on the Amazon Live side. Jacqueline is saying hello to you as well, Dr. Taj. As we talk about Stronger, which is the book that all of us got to know you from, and then we think about where you are now, what you've been reading from with Transformation, the Bounce Back, the newest book. Have you found that happiness for this person is now different than happiness for this person?
Yeah, Cyrus. It is, because I'm still evolving. You know, I wrote Transformation, and I speak about that first chapter, that first message, change is challenging. And where I was when I wrote Stronger, oh, so interesting. I'm in orange today. Where I was when I wrote Stronger, what I thought would make me happy is not what I know will make me happy now. Because I was still on several wheels, and I didn't know me. And, you know, we've talked about it in many ways, but, you know, when you have a trauma response, because, you know, I'm coming out of trauma and I responded a certain way, it was great. It was a positive thing, but over the long term, it became detrimental to who I am as a person. And so learning that and learning how to set boundaries has been challenging, but I'm happier learning how to set those boundaries. And so you've got to protect that person that you're becoming.
Right. The theme of happiness is something, again, I thought about when prepping for this, because as I thought about, of course, this book, Transform with Ties, Healthy Recipes, I'm going to hold that up. I'm going to go ahead and feature it on the Amazon Live side as well. You guys can go ahead and get that, because we all have heard that happiness is an inside job, right? And so I think what is so interesting is, as we kind of think about our lives, Ties, and what's important, as you were talking about, what matters, how it all begins within. Yeah. So I want to talk about what that's been like for you to share, because that's not easy for people who are authority figures like yourself to admit. Like you said, you're still evolving. Many people would look at you and think you already have arrived, right? You know, when you talk about, you know, change is challenging, people would think, oh, you have it all figured out. What has it been like for you to share with your audience that we all are a work in progress, and that's okay? That's the way it should be.
Cyrus, as you said, you've been following my readings, and I'm at the point in the bounce back where I'm talking about the idiopathic constipation. Basically, that's constipation when they don't have any diagnosis. They don't know why. And I'm reading that, and I thought about, well, are you going to actually say that? And I'm like, well, they got the book. And if they don't have the book, somebody's got the book, and they can tell them that's what she's talking about. Because, and I was like, yeah, because that's being true to who I am. I can't go back and change this health concern that I have. But if I can help someone else by being transparent about it, then maybe it will help them to look at their situation differently. Plus, I think for me, as it relates to happiness, every time that it's in front of me, it keeps it in my mind that you have to be mindful of your diet. You've got to be mindful of getting enough rest, exercise, and fluids, because all of that's going to play a part in how my body functions as far as the GI tract. And the funny thing, Cyrus, is when I first graduated from college, I worked in a hospital. I worked at UNC Hospital, and I worked in gastroenterology. And it's so amazing to me to come full circle now, and I'm having this GI problem. And I think about a physician, Douglas Drossman, who is a psychiatrist, and he's a GI specialist. And I can't deny that there has to be an emotional component to how my body is responding, because physically we can't figure it out. But having worked in that environment, I know there is an emotional component. And so that's the reason I'm like, you're going to keep going forward. You're going to share your story, because again, we never know what will make the difference for someone else. And for me, it also still fuels my happiness, because I'm not denying a part of myself. Sometimes when I was on the hamster wheel, I was denying parts of myself in order to, go along to get along? Or whatever, but you don't see it at that time. And this book is raw. I mean, it's what I lived, and it's what I'm still living. And I think that as relates to happiness, you can't deny parts of yourself, because then how can you truly be happy?
Yeah, such a great thing. Dr. Adrienne said on Amazon Live, lifestyle change is very hard, but we have to be consistent. Getting the right information is essential. You talk about that in Transformation, the Bounce Back. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that for a second. You and I have had some very tough conversations about this book, and I'm not going to do that today, because I was called out by somebody for something I said to you on our IG Live about the book.
Thank you, whoever my friend is. Thank you for taking up for me. Thank you.
So I'm aware that sometimes I can ask questions that are relevant, but may be very pointed. Okay. So I'm very happy. I'm the #1 media show for Brian. So I'm gonna be more gentle.
Okay, so he's saying, guys, now he's setting me up.
However, I don't script this, so if I go off track.
Okay.
Just know it. No, what I was going to say though, Taz, your honesty, your transparency, have you gotten used to the idea, or has it dawned on you at this point that can be life-saving for somebody else?
Let me tell you, Cyrus, I have, but I haven't, but I have. I posted, would have been Monday, I was reading about the Linzess, which is one of the medications I take. And someone reached out to me on Facebook, and they wanted to talk with me. And so we had a conversation, and they were sharing their story with me, and they were giving me some pointers. We don't have the exact same issue, but they were giving me some pointers about the medication and about fluid and blah, 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 blah. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, this person has been my angel today. And that was my reason to keep going, because it resonated. And she said to me, she's always looking for anything that has that medication listed. And so when you asked me that question, I didn't before, but now I realize that it can really help someone else. And those individuals can help me also, because they can share in their life, their lived experiences with me, which may then help me to figure out how I need to continue to shift my life. So I hadn't before, but it happened on Monday.
Yeah. I want to ask you a heart and head question for a second. With that being said, though, Taz, because, one thing I have realized, which is why, I say a lot of times, I'm always talking about coming from humble beginnings. You write about it in your book. I talk about my issues, with self-doubt before my suicide attempts. I talk about those things, not for pity, but to let people know I'm not here. I'm right here with you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I've been very fortunate. I've been very blessed. I've had a lot of great things happen in my life, but I've had some low points in my life as well. You write about those low points as well, but I want to ask you about the saying that we hear all the time and what it's been like for you to live that, and that is, it's okay not to be okay. And I say that to you because a lot of times people just want you to be best-selling this, award-winning that, and you have this job, you drive this car, you live in this neighborhood. But what has it been like for you to get to a point where you realize, you know what? It's okay not to feel the greatest every day. I interviewed someone who wrote a book called It's Okay Not to Be Fabulous Every Day. Basically, she was telling women, don't feel this pressure. What has it been like for you not to have to feel the pressure that every day has to be a great day?
A struggle. I'm going to be real, Cyrus, because I'm still battling that type A mentality, also, or personality, I should say. But also, I'm still trying to stay off the hamster wheel. Because what I realize is, even though I talk about great expectations, we can put unrealistic expectations on ourselves. And when our operating system is a certain way, it's just like with Windows or whatever, if you've got a Mac, you operate a certain way, and you have to truly change how you approach life. When I had a night, I won't say which night, it's been a very recent night, I got 3 hours of sleep. Now, let me tell you, I can't function out 3 hours of sleep. I can function intellectually, but I cannot function socially.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to temper my emotions. And I knew better. And then I didn't feel good for a couple of days. And so then it's like, now what you gonna do about it? Because you're expecting something that your body cannot do. And even if it could do it, you shouldn't make it do it. So then I'm like, okay, let me pull back, because I've almost bought into this idea that everything can just be fine off of 3 hours of sleep. Well, it can't be off of 3 hours of sleep. And that's damage to me. So it's a constant battle. And that's the one thing I would want people to understand, Cyrus, as you say, regardless of the best-selling books, the contributions I do on radios, et cetera, I'm still a human being. And I have to pace myself, whether I want to or not. And then I have this great philosopher that I really love. And this philosopher says this: if it looks like work or feels like work, you need to stop. And I share that with a lot of people. And then sometimes they'll share it back to me, and it's like, seem like you're working. I'm like, okay. Yeah. I have to pull back. And then even on my real job, because that means for me, I'm like this, I'm tense. And if I'm tense, imagine what that's doing to my insides, even though I may be cranking out the work. So I have to bounce back. I have to slide back from my desk and say, okay, let me get up and go get some water, go walk outside, so that I can reset and then come back and approach whatever I'm doing from a realistic expectation. But it's a challenge.
Yeah. And I think it's a challenge for a lot of people. And I wanted to bring it up for that reason, because I think a lot of times people, and we're seeing it more and more, there's been a lot of news this week, and I think people are understanding there's more to people than what we always see, than the nice pictures and the, whatever, that we are all people, we all live. I tell people I have a very messy life. It doesn't look like that, but my life is not the traditional life. It's just not, I'm weird. I take naps.
I know.
Hey, look, I've had 2 today. But it is, but with my life, it fits for me, though. It fits for me. And I think that's the other big thing, is finding what fits for us. And I think once you do that and realize you don't have to be like everyone else, you don't have to look like everyone else. I mentioned the cookbook earlier, and someone actually just purchased Transformation, the Bounce Back. You guys are going to really enjoy that book. But I want to talk about the cookbook for a second, Taz, because I love what you've done with this. And when Taz and I were discussing this project, now this is all Taz's work, but Taz, I was so proud. I don't know if I've said this to you before, but I looked and I said, you know what? Look at Taz. Taz looks like she belongs in a cookbook. Look at her.
Thank
I
you.
mean, you know, with her very Martha moments there. I mean, Taz, what? I mean, let's just talk about celebrating for a second. I want to talk about what inspired the cookbook, but what was it like for you to kind of look at these pictures of the food, of you with the food, and think about that was you? That's all you.
Cyrus, I was so happy. And you know, it was like birthing a baby to get the cookbook to the market. But I was so happy because cooking is one of my happy places. And I remember talking to someone. I was like, I want a cooking show, and they were like, "Why?" I'm like, "I've always wanted one because cooking is." This is gonna sound strange, guys, but I'm really serious. Several ways that I relax in the home: cleaning and cooking.
Yeah.
But I learned that when I'm stressed, don't cook. Because I tell the story how I dropped a pot of homemade spaghetti sauce on the floor. So I know not to cook if I'm not together. But cooking and cleaning, it relaxes me. But I thought about it. It also it ignites my creative juices because even when I'm cleaning, I'm thinking, and I clean in an organized way. So for me to finally see that I did it, you know, I've been changing recipes. And even though I haven't cooked live, guys, I got to put this out here, Cyrus. I don't, who knows, I may do a pop-up. But because I've been healing this year, I haven't cooked live, but I've still been cooking. As I've been posting some things, and I'm going to post something later. I'm still cooking and I'm still modifying recipes. But for me, as you talk about the cookbook, to see the pictures, because guys, I'm so transparent. I didn't know how to take a picture by myself, you know, and it was like someone said, well, just put your timer on. You know, I'm still new to this technology. And so I put my timer on. And so then I put my timer on and I grab my food and it's like, oh, then the camera takes the picture. And for me, it's like success after success because I did it. Nobody else did it. I did it all by myself. And that's a wonderful feeling. If I have to admit it, it's a great feeling.
Dr. Adrienne says, also my mood changes the taste of the food. I've heard that before.
Yes.
I've heard that. So you just said something, and for those who don't know, Taz, explain what you mean about changing up the recipes, because that's kind of what's the basis of the cookbook. Talk about how, you know, what makes these recipes different.
Well, I'm a Southern girl, I got to say that. And I've been cooking since I was 9. I made homemade cornbread from scratch at 9 and started making homemade cakes from there. So I'm a real cook, a real home cook, but I have Graves' disease. And as a result of the Graves' disease, my doctor eventually recommended me for gastric sleeve surgery. So I had sleeve surgery. And so when I eat, you know, sometimes I'll put a little saucer out with food, but most times I do the plate so people can actually see food on a plate. But I eat off of a saucer. I eat off of a saucer. And so I only eat small amounts of food every time I eat. And so for me, since I have to eat protein first, it has to taste really good because I'm only going to get a little bit. And so therefore, it's like, how do I change some of the recipes that we like to eat? And I call it that good food that we shouldn't have, that good, bad food, but make it a healthier version of itself. And so that's my whole thing with Transform with Taz, the cookbook. I'm trying to provide healthier options of the same food, but a healthier option, because the thing is with eating healthy, not dieting. Dieting to me implies you're doing it for a certain time period, but we need to change how we approach food and how we eat our food in the relationship. So my thing is eat in a healthy manner, smaller portions, but make it flavor packed. And so that's what I try to do with the recipes that I recreate. Hi, Luana.
Yeah. Hey, Luana, good to see you. And I love that. And so, again, for those who have not had a chance to get it, here it is. Here, again, that is Transform with Taz Healthy Recipes. Again, it is out now on Amazon. You all can get it there for only $12.99. So great recipes. I actually just opened it up. You have chili in here, pizza, which, you know, that's one of my biggies there. Protein pancakes. Yes. I mean, just a little bit of something for everyone here. And does it, at this point, you know, I think for authors out there, you know, having the book, opening up the book, seeing the book, is a surreal experience. What is it like for you to think about having a cookbook of all things, Taz, to have a cookbook?
Now, this is going to sound bad because, Cyrus, and I've told folks before, I've been writing a book since I was a little girl. I've been telling my mother, I'm going to write a book, I'm going to write a book. Mm-hmm. But for me to have a cookbook, it means something else because I'm a little strange, guys. I read cookbooks for relaxation. I just love cookbooks, so, I buy the magazines at the drugstore, and I read them and I look at the pages and then I remember, I'm doing dog tail. For me to have my own cookbook, it's like you lived your dream. Mm-hmm. You lived it. You got it. Yes, you got the other book, but you wrote a cookbook, something that means so much to me. Because it takes in all of my creativity and I love to cook. And I'll tell you, I made some, this is so stupid of me to say this, but I'm gonna tell you guys, I made some meatloaf yesterday. And I went to my cookbook and even when I do lamb chops, because lamb chops are in there, I go to my cookbook because I want to recreate it the same way versus me just cooking by feel, like I would normally do. And so I thought, now why are you pulling out the cookbook for you to make meatloaf? But I did. And I was told that it tastes quite well because I wasn't really making this particular meatloaf for me. But I was told that it tastes good. But I thought, now you're like a customer or I don't know the other word to use for your own book. You go into your cookbook to open it up to cook something that you should know how to cook because you cook it, but it's like, I want to cook it by the recipe. And so for me, it's like, it's the best. It's like balloons and confetti and everything to have my own cookbook.
Yeah, such a great thing. Luana says, love the hope that Teresa is providing thousands of people around the world. She's an inspiration. And she also says it is a great cookbook, yummy choices. So definitely invite you guys to get it. Also, make sure you guys get stronger. Hey, Kathy, good to be able to see you as well. Kathy says, Teresa always keeps it real, lover. Yes, she does. And we've had another we've had a real conversation, constipation and all here, Kathy. So you missed it.
Only I would do that. I gotta say this. My mother said it yesterday, I think it was, because I keep thinking this is later than Wednesday. When I was working in the hospital, she used to say to me, you're too bold, because I would be using hospital terms talking about stuff. And she said that to me yesterday. I told you just be too bold. And, she knows about the book, of course. But here we are live talking about constipation. Everybody needs to be mindful of their gut health. So I'm the person to talk about it.
Yeah. And if you missed this live, it's all over her social media anyway. She was reading it from the book. So you guys can definitely get Transformation the Bounce Back there on Amazon, as well as her first book, which I held up earlier. Going to go ahead and highlight it again on the Amazon side. Stronger as well. Kathy says, you two are a hot mess.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you.
Kathy, she wrote the book. How did I get it? Kathy, she wrote it and she read it. It's all over social media.
I'm gonna help somebody.
Carolyn on Amazon Live says hello and says Southern cooking is the legacy. Very good, so true. Dr. Velma says great tips. I too was trained on Southern cooking as well. It is great though, Taza. I know it's always a great time. See, when Taza and I get together, that's why we have to be careful because sometimes I think we forget that there are other people that are in on this conversation that we're having. But for the record, if someone's just listening to this, she was the one who wrote about constipation. I was just bringing up what she wrote in the book.
I did it. It's on me. It's on me.
Oh boy. But Taz, congratulations to you again on all your success. How can our viewers stay connected with you?
Well, the easiest way to stay connected with me is to go to Instagram, Dr. Teresa Smith, and you'll see my picture. And then I've got my Linktree bio there, and it gives you all of my other social media handles and also the link for my YouTube channel.
Awesome. Love it. Taz, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for the time. Really do appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Cyrus, for having me. And thank you everyone for your support.
Yeah, Jacqueline says hilarious. Yeah, we're good friends too, Jacqueline. So it's we've only met in person one time, believe it or not. I interviewed her there in North Carolina where she lives. But yeah, we're very good friends. Thank you all so much for being with us for this hour of Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. And thank you again for making us the #1 media show for Prime Day for the second time this year. You guys did it earlier this year, did it again this time in October. Really appreciate all the support. If you guys are not following me on the Amazon Live platform, you can catch all of our broadcasts here, including my art show called The Art Spot, where I do live art here on Amazon Live. Some great projects we're able to do, some do-it-yourself projects as well. Make sure you guys hit that follow button either here in this corner or down below. And again, thanks to Jacquiline Cox and Dr. Teresa A. Smith for being with us for this hour and all the great brands I was able to work with this hour, but also for the entire 2 days. Until next time, I'm Cyrus Webb saying thank you so much for joining us for Cyrus Webb Presents. We'll talk to you all real soon. Take care.